Welcome back to another episode of things to explain inside the brewing space. Maybe some new brewers got some new equipment over the holiday season, and they came with some of these tri-clamp butterfly valves, and they're tagged as sanitary and all this other fun stuff, but they still do need to be broken down and cleaned from time to time. The best part is it doesn't take a lot of tools. Okay, I just have two different size Allen keys on here and a little mini crescent wrench. They're very straightforward to take apart and put back together. Each different sizes are just going to be determined by how many bolts there are to put it all together, but these actually go together and pull apart rather simply. So let's just go ahead and get after it. I know that this tool from Craftsman happens to be, these two opposing sides are the right size. This Allen key up here in the handle is a little bit different size than the Allen keys on this side. So, but still very straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the handle, which is just a matter of taking this apart here. Okay, once that Allen bolt comes out, this handle will come straight off. Just give it a good pull. Just remember to release this this key lock that goes into these parts. Okay, now pay attention to the orientation of this device, which is basically your middle wide open, and then your two sides to be locked closed. And then these are just to make sure you don't over rotate, but that's fine. Just make sure that when we put this back together, the handle with this little key lock goes back in the same orientation. Okay. Then once that is off, this will come off. Sometimes it's a little bit of a bear cat, but this will pop off. And I'm just using the Allen wrench here to give it a little bit of a encouragement to go ahead and break free. Okay, and so this will just slide right off. Okay, so like I said, here's the orientation. Very, very simple device. We'll put that off to the side as well. Now, this is still completely put together, and so now we'll switch to the larger size Allen here and my little mini crescent wrench. And just give her a good old break free. Okay, what I like to do is I like to start each one. We do have a rubber gasket in there that's basically under compression, so this might be a little bit forceful, but we just got to go ahead and get in there and get after it. And this is why I like to remove the handle, because then it's easier to rotate this around and work on it. So now with everything loosened up, we should be able to start to hand loosen all these nuts. Here's an example of it still under tension or pressure, right? So we'll just get after it again. If you've ever changed a tire in your car, you kind of know that sometimes these things, they have some movement, and you got to get all those lug nuts in there just right. Very similar thing here. Okay, now we've got this all loosened up all the way around. We'll just go ahead and take these apart. Line them all up. Now, so far, everything we've taken off is all external. Nothing that's actually touching any fermented beverages, right? So, it's still important to clean everything just for good measure. You can see I got a little bit of spritz on here from doing other things, but we're going ahead and now all we have to do is just really I kind of torqued it like this. That way, so these two pieces will come apart. Okay. Now you can see here, you may be able to see in the camera, there's a little bit of moisture inside of here. Okay. And that's part of what I'm talking about. Extra things get in there. It could be moisture. It could be a little bit of the food safe grease that helps keep the gaskets moistened so they maintain their shape. So now that we got this half off, we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. And then this middle piece, you're just going to lift it out, okay? Just like such. Now, this is a part where things get interesting, because you can get stuff stuck down in this bottom edge down here or up in here. And in order to remove this, you have to give this a really good squeeze. And this will come right up out over the top, okay? So if you hold this side, give this a good squeeze on the top side, this will come off, okay? You're just gonna have to work on it. All right, there we go. So, like I said, you got to give it a really good squeeze, okay? Now, this part will come out of here as well. You just got to get them off, okay? So this is now fully disassembled. This is your center paddle piece that actually closes everything off. This is your gasket. These are replaceable. Now, the cool part about these gaskets, excuse me, the good part about these gaskets is they're universal. Okay, every manufacturer who makes these butterfly valves, they work interchangeably. You just got to make sure you get the right size for the size valve you have. In my case, I have 1.5 inches. You can actually get these off of Amazon. Now, obviously, once you put everything back together, all you got to do is slide everything back together. So with that, you put just a little bit of food safe lubricant in here. Matter of fact, 1 second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, this is what I'm referring to by some food safe silicone. Okay, this will make it where it'll make all these rubbers slide together very nicely, and it can be used not only on these tri-clamps, but also in spunding valves or anything else where there is a rubber gasket. So even on beer kegs, you can actually put a little bit of this on those beer post silicone gaskets that seal the ball locks into place. So this is always really good to keep handy. And this one, all you got to do is just put just a little bit of this CIP film on this top piece here. Okay, you can get that on this top piece and then this bottom piece down here, and everything will slide together. So this has already been taken care of off to the side. So now we're going to start to build it back together. And there is no orientation of this piece. As far as, one is the top, one is the bottom, they're identical. So all you have to do is, I just grab this little paddle piece, get it started down in the hole. Now this is some pretty tough gasket material here, so feel free to get after it, okay? And then, of course, if it gets brittle or the such, then you know it's time to replace it. We're going to rotate this paddle over. We're going to squeeze this, get this up over the top, push her on in. Okay, you can see how deformed it gets in order to get up and over the top, but that's okay. Just push it down. Okay, we'll go squish that in there, squish that in there. Now that this middle paddle is now reseated inside of the gasket. On this particular tri-clamp, there is a notch down on this side, and this one goes clean out the top. So that tells you the orientation is going to be just like this. Okay. And you just got to get that worked back in there. Once again, you can use a little bit of that CIP film on this outer edge to get that to slide back in if it's being too much of a bearcat. And then we're going to face this other piece the same way. And we're just going to squish them back together, line these two top pieces back together, and we're just going to hand push them back together. Now, the cool part about this is you don't really have to put this, only through one side. You can go back and forth, but it's just more common to keep one tool in each hand. So we'll just go ahead and slide these back together, get the nut started. Okay, and now you can see that there's still a gap in here, and that's normal because now we're going to get this seal that's on the inside under some compression. So we'll go ahead and get going with that. You can somewhat hand tighten some of this stuff before even needing to really get the wrench on the other side to put it back together. You get it started, a couple turns each. Just keep going round and round until we close that gap. Okay, now we're back to the beginning where we were. Now I'm going to use my wrench on the nut, Allen key, and basically just go till they bottom out. Those two metal facings will squish together, and the gap on the inside keeps the right amount of tension in there. So you just go to you see the seam here. Here you can see where they're tightened together, and the metal faces each other. But over here you can see there's still a gap. So we know these are loose and need to be tightened down. Okay, and now we're just going to go around one more time to make sure everything is nice and snug. Okay, you don't have to, put like a bajillion square foot-pounds of pressure on these to hold them together. Okay, just got to get enough to where it's a good amount of resistance in there, or you can feel the tightening. Okay. Okay, that's all done. Now we'll go back to the top, and these valves are two-way, right? So you don't have to only put this on in one direction. You just have to make sure that the position you put this key on matches with where the handle goes. So you have that stop in there. So that's the only piece. I can put it this way on this direction, or I can flip it and put it on that direction. It does not matter. Okay. The one thing you do want to do is just make sure that this gets centered up. This post gets centered up on here. And one easy way to make sure that that happens is you can actually just go ahead and put the handle on. Once again, these two ears are on the top, and then the squeeze handle part is going to come down here. So you can just go ahead and get this started. Okay, that's going to make sure that the center hole is lined up with the side bracket here. So you can go ahead and get this started. And then as you tighten this down, it's going to go ahead and seat this piece anyways. Okay, so let's just get after it. I don't know if you can see the gap closing on there as we're tightening this down. Okay. Now, with that tightened down all the way, this now operates. You can check to make sure that it's going to stop and function correctly. Okay. Let me go all the way open. and go all the way to the other side. Now we can see it's fully closed and ready to go. Everything's seated down nicely the way it needs to be. Okay, and everything operates. We can open the valve and we're ready to go. So now that we've fidgeted with this, even though it was pretty well clean on the inside, showed you how to break it all the way down into all its pieces. You can clean everything, get in there. If you do need to work on that rubber seal inside of there, just make sure you use like a really soft brushed toothbrush to work anything off that's inside of there. And then, like I said, use a little bit of this CIP film to, make things slide in when you have the rubber on the metal interactions. I didn't need to do that because I didn't fully strip all of the previous CIP film off of there. But now that it's reassembled, you go ahead and get this all sprayed down with no rinse sanitizer, and you're ready to rock and roll again. Thanks for coming along. Hope this was clearer than mud. But for anybody out there that's trying to figure out how these things work, it's very straightforward, very simple. Just takes a little bit of time to break it down, make sure you reassemble it all correctly. All right, well, with that, I will catch you guys on the next one. Prost.